If I catch COVID from the DMV, that's gonna be peak 2020 for me. Hi fellow plant people, welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and if you're new, my name is Jen. I go by the Leafy Geek here and also on Instagram. And I'm having a week. Not gonna dwell on this on my channel. It's probably nothing. I got a COVID test today because I have been experiencing some minor symptoms of what I believe to be a sinus infection. But I want to be sure for the safety of the people in my bubble with me. So that's what I did. Spat in a tube today, mailed it off. We'll see in a couple of days. Because of that uncertainty, I have been isolating. I've been quarantining myself, and I was already, but I do live in kind of a unique situation where I have family members who live in the same duplex, the same building as I do. So we have been not interacting, and it's been interesting because I've been kind of fortunate throughout this pandemic. I've been quarantining, I've been following the rules, you know, not having people over, not going out into the community. But we've been fortunate because we've had our little bubble, right? We consider ourselves a household as we live in the same building, and it's just been kind of nice having at least a couple of other people to spend time with when I can't take solitude anymore. I don't have that this week. That's fine. It is what it is. I mean, I have Hound Dog for what that's worth, but you can only have so many conversations with that. I am currently spending a lot of time enclosed in my apartment, and I'm doing a lot of cleaning. So fortunately for you, I got to clean my living room. It's pretty sparkly and pretty, and I had recently kind of rearranged some things here to accommodate more plants. So I want to show you my redesigned living room space. It's really, really fun. I love it. It feels so much more jungly in here in this particular room than it did even before. I had quite a bit of plants out in my living room before, but I've been able to accommodate more, and I'll show you kind of why that vibe is different. So without further ado, let's just take a look at the plants. So here is a quick pan of my main living space in my apartment as it looks today. You can see there's some Christmas presents under my tree over there. But this is kind of the main setup I've got going on in here now. And it's a lot more vertical. Let me take you a little closer. So this just feels so much better to me. I'm able to accommodate more plants, and I'm also aligning with that. I'm able to accommodate their lighting needs based on what plants I've put on the shelves and where. So that's been really cool, kind of experimenting with that and trying to make sure that the plants are getting their light levels they would be accustomed to in their natural environment. So that's really what I'm trying to recreate here. And we'll go in a little closer and I'll show you what the different plants are and where I have them and how they're doing. There are some new ones on here too that I've not shown you yet on this channel. So that's pretty cool. I'm sorry, friends. I've already moved a couple of things around since that last clip. Mainly because I noticed that my Cissus quadrangularis that was here wasn't doing super great. So I moved it just to keep an eye on it. And so I've temporarily put my Philodendron Birkin right here. Now, I don't think this is the ideal place for this Birkin. It's just kind of the best plant I could really consider putting here at the moment. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I might change this out for my black cardinal. Oh, decisions in real time. I'm leaving the Birkin here for now because the black cardinal is doing really well where it's at. So that's the plan. And Birkin's doing okay. It just hasn't been doing the greatest. Some of these lower leaves are kind of yellowing and not doing great, but we'll leave it here for now. We'll see what it wants. We'll probably move it to a brighter light situation, but Birkin is here now. And then next to that, we have my Thaumatophyllum bipennatophytum, or Philodendron Saloom. It is a Thaumatophyllum now, though. That is the genus it belongs to. I think, is this the newest leaf? Or I think maybe this is the newest leaf. Either way, it's multiplying. That's great. Seems to like the spot a lot. Then I've got some rando stuff on this shelf. It's mostly my diminutive plants, my smaller plants. I can tell you right now, this little succulent isn't super happy in this corner. Who'd have thought, right? Ew. Yeah, let's take a look at the damage. I put it here thinking it might be happy there under a grow light. Apparently not. Bummer. Can't all look perfect, can they? Oh well. Got my Peperomia quadrangularis, my beetle Peperomia, sitting right here. This has been a real trooper of a plant. It's kind of good wherever I put it. It seems to be doing okay in that corner. This drops leaves like a son of a, though. Don't really know why. Then I have a cutting of my Philodendron Brazil right here. This rooted really nicely and it's got some new growth on it. Up top there. Likes the light a lot. Got Cissus rotundifolia back there. That's another member of the grape ivy family. Got my, this is a newer plant. This is my Ludicea discolor. One of my jewel orchids. I have two now. This one is growing really well. It loves this position right here. Just enough light, right next to the humidifier. Super happy plant. And then I've got, oh, this is what remains of my, one of my trailing Peperomias. I'm trying for the life of me to remember the name of this thing. Ruby Cascade. So this, it is what it is. The main plant died. I have this in water. I will eventually root it up, I think. Then this little miracle plant. This is an Irisine herbstii. This was completely wilted over about 2 hours ago. I watered it and now it's fine. This is a drama queen. If any of you guys have the Irisine plants or any of the varieties of Irisine, you know what I'm talking about. And then over here is my, Peperomia cubensis, I believe. This has been slowly recovering. I had it in a place in my home where it just really wasn't the happiest, not enough light, and it didn't appreciate that, so it's bouncing back slowly. And then right here is my string of turtles. Sorry if you guys can hear the clicking of the doggy's toenails on the ground. Hi, doggy. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. What? You like the plants too? Yeah. I'm doing a tour. Mama's doing a tour. Can you have some chill? Thank you. You're a good girl. Okay. So then I've got my Peperomia prostrata, my string of turtles right here. This has rebounded pretty nicely. Again, had this in a not so great spot. Apparently it was getting really bleached out. But since I moved it here, it's right by the humidifier, which I think it really loves. I think it's a Peperomia that just really, really needs that humidity. People call this a terrarium Peperomia for a reason. It seems to be doing a lot better here where I have it. Little succulent cutting. I'm terrible with succulents, you guys, so this probably shouldn't even be here. This is an elephant bush cutting, I believe. And it's been the same, the same little sad size forever. Probably had this thing for a year. And then down here is kind of my miscellaneous shelf. My more diminutive Peperomia species, I've got my elongata down here. It gets just enough light to be happy. If I have it in bright light or brighter light, even if it's indirect, even if it's a grow light, it burns or yellows. So I am trying to find the balance for this guy. It hasn't been doing very well lately, I'll be honest. It's not super duper happy. The leaves are pretty floppy. I've checked it for pests a bunch. Haven't found any to my knowledge, but I don't know. Anybody has care tips for their Peperomia elongata, let me know, because I would appreciate. And then right here, I've got just kind of a, keep hitting the crate. Just a hodgepodge of Peperomia, kind of resting in this. This is a new planter I got. It's a vintage shallow planter I got off of, they're actually a YouTube channel, Recycled Life. It's Laura and Selena, if you guys have ever checked out their channel. But they each have vintage online shops, and I got this one off of Laura's, their Left Coast Vintage. So I might be potting these little Peperomias up into that pot. We shall see. Just kind of a medley. They're all small, but they take a lot of care because they are small and they need extra watering. And I usually fail at that, so for what it's worth, I might pot them together and see if together they get enough so I can avoid this nonsense. Poor little. This is a Lalaha Trace, and I've got a cutting from my larger Polybatria that rooted up really nicely and has thrown out a baby. And then I've got these cuttings that are still rooting of Peperomia Hope. Obviously, they're not doing so great, some of them. Some of them are doing okay. And then back there is my, what is this Peperomia called? Graveolens. Peperomia graveolens, which is also recuperating a little bit. You can see it lost a lot of its lower leaves. It just hasn't been in the right environment for a while. And that, my friends, is my sad little side shelf of plants. Mainly Peperomia, some oddballs, some randos. Still love them all. Just trying to figure them out. On to the main show, my big shelf. So this was just one of those like restaurant style, heavier duty metal shelves. I think I got this at Target, and I didn't get the big one. I got the small 2-shelfer. So it's like, what even is it? Like 18 inches by like 2.5 feet or 3 feet or something like that. And I originally had this in my plant room, and it just didn't really fit in there. I've got a lot of wood tones. I've got a lot of white going on. I've got those white and glass IKEA shelves in there. And so it was just kind of, I don't know, it was okay. It was by my radiator. It was holding a lot of my extra pots, and it just wasn't attractive to look at. So I decided I wanted to use it for plants, and this was kind of the perfect space in my living room to do that. I have this wooden desk that became a plant table in here. I inherited that from my grandparents. And the crate for Hound Dog fits under there spectacularly, like it was made for it. That, by the way, the gate always stays open. She's never crated. She was crate trained as a puppy, but she loves that space. It's kind of her safe space. A lot of dogs have that denning instinct. They really like to go into something or under something. She's one of those. So that is kind of her little relaxation zone. So it's great because it's kind of dual purpose. Creates a little cave for Hound Dog, but it also holds a lot of plants. And it had held a lot of plants before I put the shelf on here, but so much better, you guys. So we'll start over here. So this is my vanilla orchid, and I'm just going to take this down because I want to show this to you. This thing grows like an inch a day. I'm not even kidding. I need to get a bigger moss pole for it already. It is insane. And there are 3 little orchid shoots on it that are growing. So we've got this big main one up here. I've got one here. And then I've got one starting down there. Oh, this one is actually rooting in there. Nice. Okay. So that appreciates where it's sitting, right on top of the humidifier. It gets plenty of humidity there. Makes it really happy. I just always have to remember to wet this down. It's feeling pretty dry. I have it, the sphagnum moss on the pole and then covering the soil. So definitely need to do that. I have it in a sphagnum and bark mix underneath this top layer of sphagnum. So it does dry out. So I really do need to stay up on watering, but it seems pretty happy with what I'm doing for it. So that's pretty good. Then I've got this lovely little lady. This is my Peperomia Valutina. This is the bicolor version. So the leaves have this dual tone, some of the newer leaves have this reddish tone. The older ones have this darker green and the silvery green overlay on it, which is really pretty. Red stems. This is a thinner leafed Peperomia, so I find that it does really well in this particular spot, right where it is. It gets a lot of really good light, both from the window, from that north-facing window, but also the grow light helps a lot. And it's right by the humidifier, which I think really appreciates because it's a thinner leafed Peperomia. And then, bottom shelf, I've got my Philodendron Macaulay's Finale back there. My Philodendron Micans is back there. And then in that corner, behind these beautiful things I'll get to in a second, that is a Hoya lacunosa in that back right corner. But really, guys, so I might have mentioned on social media that I've been getting into begonias a little bit. I think I mentioned that even in my last video. This is the start of it. These are 3 begonias that I picked up from Steve's Leaves. And I do have 3 more on the way. They'll be getting here Friday, which I am super excited about. But they have all seemed to kind of settle down and have started to acclimate to my house, which is good. I was worried for a little bit. I was like, who am I thinking I can keep begonias alive? What? And a few of them kind of started to crisp up a little bit, and that kind of reaffirmed my fears, but things have kind of settled down since then. So this is my Begonia Benigo Pink. Look at those leaves. All of the begonias that I have purchased and have on order that are coming in the mail are cane begonias. So I've heard that those are a little bit easier to start with, not the rhizomatous Rex type begonias. So we will start where I am giving myself the biggest chance of success, I think. Then I've got Begonia White Chandelier. And then this one over here, this variety, is Begonia American River. They are lovely. I really do enjoy them. I don't know why I was so afraid. I guess the jury's still out a little bit, but I'm noticing new growth on this one, new leaves coming out since I've gotten it. I have it right next to the humidifier. I think they get just enough dappled light from this grow light at night, and then from also the window during the day. They get just enough where I think that they're somewhat happy. We'll see. In front here, though, I have Peperomias kind of lining the edge where Hound Dog could potentially reach. Obviously, I want to keep the more dog-safe varieties of plants, within her purview. If I'm going to have any plants in her purview, I want them to be documented as dog-safe. So a few Peperomias. These are the obtusifolias. and then an Incana in the middle here. So Peperomia, this is the variegated, the green edge version. Got some new growth happening there. Incana right here. This was a recovered plant from the one that I had outside this summer that ended up not doing great. This one you can see there's still some yellow leaves, so I think it's still adapting a little bit to its new situation. These were cuttings that rooted, so overall, a lot of these seem to be doing pretty well. Just a few yellow lower leaves. And then my marble obtusifolia right here. It's a big one, hefty. And then in this corner, I have, this plant gets mostly just natural north-facing light. This is my Peperomia scandens, and this is my green version. So moving up a shelf, right here, this is kind of the central place where a lot of the light hits from this grow light. And I, of course, have my Hoya options here. So I have a Crimson Queen kind of in the center where most of the light hits. And I have my smaller Lacunosa right here, which is doing a lot better in this position. Then over here, I have my Black Pagoda lipstick plant, which, God, I love these leaves. It's getting just the right amount of everything it wants, apparently, because it's growing new stuff right here. Doing awesome. There's another little vine of it back there. Doing the darn thing. And then in the back, I have my Homalmina selby, which is unfurling a new leaf right there. It's a little crispy in places, but it's doing okay. And then I have my Monstera siltepecana I moved right here. I've been trying to find the perfect spot for this. It's doing fine. It's just, I feel like it could be happier. So we're trying this spot for a while. And then right here is my Philodendron Moonlight. This was kind of a recent move. I put this here. My Birkin used to be here. And then I noticed some of the leaves were kind of bleaching out a little bit and getting yellow. So, I don't know. Trying that there for a while. Last shelf. I have my big string of hearts right here. Slowly starting to amble down. Not slowly, actually. This is a pretty quick grower. That's doing well. Everything's reaching for the light, it looks like. Got some new growth up there. In the back, I've got my Philodendron Black Cardinal. Newest leaf right there. Really seems to like its perch here. This is why I didn't really want to move it, because it's doing really, really well there. There's another one popping out. I just think if a plant is liking where it's living, don't move it. Behind that is, I believe this is Dracaena Florida Beauty, which is also growing still actively. Up front here, this is a plant, this is my silver dollar vine that I took a bunch of cuttings from my bigger one that didn't really survive the summer too well. So I've added some cuttings in there in a smaller pot that rooted up, and they're doing great. I've got, so I have a bigger Curtisii, but when Steve's leaves, when this showed up on their website, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get another one. Why not? Might as well. So now I have this Curtisii also. 2 Curtisiis is never enough. And then this last plant over here is my Philodendron Imperial Red, which you can see is doing an amazing job. The leaf size, these are big leaves, and it's got a new one on the way. So that's the quick rundown of my plant shelf in my living room. Just a couple more things, guys, I want to show you. I have my Peperomia Polybatria right here. This beautiful thing, I put this on a turntable so that I could rotate it easily and frequently so that all of the leaves could reach the light. I was a little bit nervous about moving this into the interior of my home. It used to be like up against the window when I didn't have that shelf there, but it no longer really fits. So I moved it to this little side table just to see what would happen. I know that's kind of a risk, but let me show you what happened. It started doing this. So I guess it was a good move because it's popping like crazy. All these little leaves at the base. So I don't really know how to explain it other than that it was probably the right move and it actually needed less light than what it was getting. I don't know. That seems a little counterintuitive to me, but the plant really seems to be doing well. So I'm not mad. I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough light to film this, but I think we will, because this is a pretty new addition to my living space. This is my my low light corner of my house. I have a few of them, but this is a big one. I installed these shelves not too long ago, fully with the intention of installing the Highland light from Soltech Solutions that I purchased and that arrived. I bought that for myself as a Christmas present, and I haven't installed them yet. So in the meantime, so I can use these shelves, I put a few of my Sansevieria up here, or I guess Dracaena, whatever. But I've got my Starfish Sansevieria, and the plant on the far left are the pups that came from that Sansevieria. I think there are like 3 or 4 pups in that pot. And then the main pot has like 2 or 3 more pups that I'm going to have to remove at some point. But then I also have my Sansevieria robusta. And then on the other side, I have my Sansevieria Moonlight. Or Moonshine. Moonlight, Moonshine. Whatever you are, you're pretty. And then here in the middle is kind of a mystery Sansevieria. This is one, I got this as a cutting or a division from my aunt's larger Sansevieria plant. So all in the family, we're a family of plant lovers. But I really kind of like the simplicity of this shelf. Even in the lower light, like having these plants there, it just really, it kind of feels nice. It's aesthetically pleasing to me. So if I do install the lights, I'll probably get Hoyas to put on here or, you know, other plants. I don't know if I'll leave the Sansevierias here or not. I really love this look though right now. So we'll see. And then over in this corner is my cast iron plant. Probably one of the darkest corners in my house, but it is a champ and it's doing really, really well here. I moved it here with the intention of having the Highland track lights installed. So I've been keeping an eye on this just to make sure it's not going to, you know, freak out or anything, but it's been doing really, really well. So I can't explain it. It does get light. It's just very, very indirect northern light, which is so strange. But obviously if it started to decline, I would move it. And then over on the other side is kind of a sad situation. It's my one of my calathea plants, my rufobarbas, that seem to have some sort of something going on. So that's why this is by itself. I'm trying to figure out what it's got, and I've been treating it for pests. So just a lot of very sad looking leaves. But other than that, here's a final sweep of my living room. Oh, that's so pretty. I don't think I know how to record a short video. Thank you guys for sticking with me and checking out my living room situation. It's really, really cool. I love the window setup. I wanted to show you my office space where I'm currently filming. This is my old filming space. It's currently where I have like my day job office set up, but I do have some cool plants over in this corner too that I will show you someday, but not enough time in this video for that. So until next time, you guys, I hope you're doing well, and please, as always, enjoy your plants.